Welcome to the Voices of a Black Man. My name is CK James, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Robbo Fitzgibbons. I'm super excited about the conversation we're having today. The Voices of a Black Man is a platform for Black men to not be the stereotypes that society has put on them. The stereotypes of silent, meaning absent, or angry, which means aggressive, but for society to see Black men as really who they are. Men who happen to be Black, men who are just as diverse in their backgrounds, experiences, in their aspirations, and in their dreams. So I'm excited today to have this conversation with Robbo Fitzgibbons, aka DJ Robbo. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing today?
I am doing amazing, especially because I have you on. I can't believe that you're sitting down with me and having this conversation. I'm super excited about it. You know that I admire your work. You as a man, as a Black man, I'm just excited. How about you? What's going on with you today?
I'm first of all, thank you for having me. That's number one. I'm very excited to be here with you as well. Excited about life, regardless of all the things that are going on in the nation and around the world. I'm still excited about life, and I feel blessed just to be able to wake up in the morning and create like I normally do. Yeah. So it's been fantastic. So it's good being here with you.
Wow. Well, I'm just going to get right into it. You know me, I just jump right into it. Tell us where you're from. Where you're from, how'd you grow up? Just let us into a little bit about DJ Robbo growing up.
That's a long story. It's funny. A lot of people don't connect the age that I am with me. I don't know why. But I was born in '66, so I'll be 54 in a few days, tomorrow.
Wow! Happy birthday!
So I didn't even realize. I don't even think about the birthday. I just keep it moving. Yeah. But I was born in Bay Shore, New York, born and raised. That's on Long Island, and it was Long Island is different than you would say Brooklyn or Queens or something like that. It's the suburbs of the metro area of New York. In the 50s, actually in the 40s and earlier, not a lot of Black people were out there. They try to keep Black people from being on Long Island. That's just what the times were. A lot of money on Long Island. And that's pretty much what it was. So if people say, hey, look, if you lived on Long Island, you had money. And it's not necessarily true because we didn't have money like that, even though I thought we did, but my parents didn't make it seem like we were broke. But as I grew up and got older, I realized, oh no, we didn't have, money, and we definitely didn't have wealth in terms of finances. But that's where I'm from, Bay Shore, New York.
Wow. So you didn't have money and you really didn't have finances. What did you have? Because you had to have something to make you think like, we're good.
Well, it's funny. It's my parents are from Honduras. Okay. And we grew up a little bit differently than Americans because we grew up from with a posture towards life from a foreigner, you know what I mean? We didn't really look at things the same. Black culture was new to me as I grew up, American Black culture. So it was different. So we had a home-based and God-driven principles, church culture, American Black church culture was how I grew up, and it was intertwined with the culture from the Caribbean, Spanish culture, and being foreigners in this country. And you wouldn't know it, like we talk, I don't have an accent, but
Yeah.
My dad speaks Spanish fluently.
Wow.
And there's been plenty of times we go somewhere and people talk about us, you know, not thinking that he knows Spanish, and he starts talking and you would think, no, that's what it is. There's Black people all over the world.
Right.
So
Right.
that's how
Wow.
I grew up.
Yeah, yeah, but you bring a different perspective, which is that I didn't know about you. So I am I'm learning too, but you bring a perspective of being from Honduras, being but I'm sure in Honduras are you considered Black in Honduras, or you just considered, is it Honduran? What is it?
Well, it wouldn't be me, it'd be my parents.
Right.
But
Right,
Black.
absolutely.
At the end of the day, you're Black. That's what it is.
Okay. Okay.
When I've gone to Belize and stuff like that, you're Black. You know, you're gonna be Black no matter wherever you are. But it's just a matter of what the culture is and how things are set up there. Wow. So you know, we've always seen that. So I tell my daughters often, it's like, you come from a stock where we looked out into the water and we said, that's where we want to go. And you didn't see it. You didn't see where you were going, but you had it in your mind and you had God in your heart and you said, I'm going to change our lives. This is where we're going. We're going to America. So for there's certain things I just don't get. It's you can't do this, or I just don't get that because I didn't come from that. You know, I wasn't raised that way. And there was nothing that, you know, we put our mind to it. There was nothing that we couldn't do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you said your father speaks fluent Spanish. Do you speak it un poquito or not at all?
Un poquito.
It's my only Spanish word. It's my only Spanish word.
But, you know, it's funny. People say, oh, your parents did you? It's like, no, my parents did not do me a disservice in any way. You have to think about it from the aspect of Black people growing up on Long Island in the 60s. You know what I mean? So they was like, we just want you to get an education, get acclimated with the other people here. Yeah. You don't want to throw in the fact that you can speak Spanish. That's going to segregate you even more.
Right.
So that was, you know, it never really became a question for me until I got, you know, became older, man, and stuff, where people would say that. And then, you know, I spoke with my mom, and she was just like, that was our goal. Our goal was for you to acclimate to American society. We weren't trying to have you stick out in any way. You already stuck out because you were Black, you know, and here we are on Long Island. You know, we don't want any more going on than necessary. And you know, I applaud them for that.
Wow. Wow. So you got to think about the times, right? 60s, 70s. That you were being raised in. You got to think about all the things that were kind of happening, going on, them coming from Honduras. So I can totally understand where they're coming from. And hey, we're just trying to not necessarily assimilate, but in some ways assimilate to be, you know, to give you a good life and make sure that you prosper in the best way possible. So I totally get it. No, I totally get it. So now let's talk about, you grew up on Long Island. Mm-hmm. Did you stay there through all through high school?
Yeah. Same house, same my dad, same house, same phone number. You know, my mom should get a record for that. She kept that phone number for over 50 years.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's something nowadays. Back in the day, that was, you know, that was nothing. Everybody had the same. But now, we change phone numbers like we change socks.
Yeah, right. Especially me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I get that. So are they're still living?
No, unfortunately, my mom passed away earlier this year, the end of last year, December. It was difficult for all of us. It was probably, I have two brothers, speak for my brothers, that it might have been the first time that we've ever had to deal with a loss of a significant, you know, someone that was close to us. It was it's definitely difficult for me because I'm the oldest, and me and my mom was close. We're still close.
Best friend.
We're still close.
Wow. Wow. So I'm so sorry to hear that. So tell me, kind of in her memory and for your father as well, when you think about growing up, what are some of the top things that they instilled in you that you carry with you today?
Hmm. um, there, there is little sayings that my mom would say. Um, One of them is lick till you can kick.
Lick till you can kick.
Right. So it's
What
like,
does that mean?
it pretty much, if you don't have the authority to make changes, then you have to wait and learn and get that authority before you can start kicking your weight around. You know what I mean?
Got you.
So that was one, and another was kill 'em with kindness, which I've had to use tremendously over the last 18 years, 19
Wow.
years,
Wow.
where it was just,
Wow.
just dealing with people in situations I got myself into where it was like, okay, that wasn't really the smartest thing to do. And now I'm in a situation, and I would always remember my mom, and will continue,
Yes.
where it's, okay, kill them with kindness, because it just like our former first lady, when they go low, you go high. Same principle. Right. Same principle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you learned it way before First Lady Obama.
Yeah, absolutely. So
your mom already had that principle.
Yeah. She loved Obama. She loved the first lady. She was excited. That was amazing, for all of us to see that happen, but especially for foreigners to be like, oh wow, and him being a foreigner to some degree.
Sure.
And his background, it was like, this is what we've been saying to you guys, that you can do anything and when you just do it, get up and do it. You know what I mean? You can be and do anything you want to do,
Wow.
Very important.
Wow. That brings a whole nother level to it, because I've always heard it from the Black perspective, right? Of just being Black in America and having a Black man in office and seeing someone that looks like you, because before then, we would have sons and brothers and fathers and knew that they could only go so far. Mm-hmm. To hear it from your mom's perspective, of a foreigner coming here, and his background actually having some of that in it as well, and being able to say, this is why we're here. This is why we came here, and this is what you actually can do. That right. Just brings it to a different level.
Yeah, no, our dynamic, and I say our when I'm speaking my brothers as well, sure. Has always been different with regards to how we saw ourselves, and for me, how I saw myself growing up. I had friends of all races and all nationalities, and it wasn't a thing to me, because that's just, I understood what it was to be an outsider in the sense of non-American. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because it was, I didn't necessarily fit in. I didn't, matter of fact, I don't remember, there's only a few people from the Caribbean that I went to high school with, junior high with. Wow. And I knew them, you know what I mean? And there was just certain things. I was close to one guy, so close that my mom actually picked him up from like a Boy Scout meeting or something, and grabbed him, put him in the car, and thought it was me. You know what I mean? And we all knew each other. We knew, parents knew each other. And I guess he must have thought, hey, my mom told Miss Fitzgibbons to pick me up. And when she really looked, she's like, where's Rob? I didn't mean to put you in the car, but it was, but that's what it was. There was a click in the sense of who we knew, and it was only because of certain things that we just grew up with, certain phrases, the way we look at things, it's just a little bit different. And it's a lot of people say, oh, you're being stuck up, or sedity, and that's really not what it was. If you grew up a different way, you're just gonna look at things differently. Yeah. And that's really what it boils down to.
Wow. Okay, Mama. Okay. I understand it. My grandmother who raised me, and I live with forever. I was driving, my sister was in the passenger seat, and my husband was in the back seat of the car. And we pulled up, and she was walking across the street to my aunt's house. And she looked at me and my sister, and she had no idea who we were. Then she looked in the back seat and saw my husband. Then all of a sudden, she knew who we were. So I understand. I get it. I get it. I totally get it. It's like, you know me all my life. You just met him for a few years. What's up with that?
Oh gosh, crazy.
So I totally get that. I get it. But it speaks to something even deeper. Being that you were a foreigner fitting in, starting out, what did Black mean to you all? Being Black.
There wasn't anything different than anybody else as far as our American friends. It wasn't like we had American friends and we had Honduran friends. That wasn't it at all. As far as we were concerned, and in the household, we're Black. That's what it is. So, and even when it came down to cousins and stuff like that, I can't speak in full for what happened in their household, but we never thought of ourselves as anything but, but for me, our culture on Long Island anyway, wasn't prevalent until like the late 80s and 90s, where you would see at least food and music. Black culture was already suppressed, but food and music and things of that nature definitely wasn't big in Bay Shore. If you go to some darker parts of Long Island, as far as color, yeah, you're gonna see our culture mixed in. But as time went on, now you'll see more, and especially on Long Island now, it's more Spanish people in Bay Shore than or it's just grown. I don't know what the percentage is, but definitely a lot of Spanish people now. So for us to go out and feel like, okay, this is Honduras, it feels like that now because there's a lot of Spanish people.
Wow.
But it never was a situation where we felt like we weren't Black. That'd be absurd to say. Completely absurd.
Okay. And okay. Absurd. We'll take it.
But I will say this: I didn't have real fried chicken until I was a grown man. Because we just there wasn't something that was in the house, and not because it was something that we thought like, okay, not to have. It's just
just didn't have it. So what would be kind of like a staple, some of your favorite foods that you would have growing up?
Oh, there was always rice and beans in the dish, on the plate in the kitchen. We ate a lot of plant-based foods. Things that I would say that probably never heard of: yuca, cassava, or plant green. That's a normal in our house.
Yuca is one of my favorites.
Yeah, no, that was a normal. And I remember, talking about it with kids, like, okay, and they would think that's a potato. I'm like, that's not potato, that's cassava. And they were, they're like, what is that? And it's like, it would confuse me because I'm thinking, oh, you don't know what this is as a kid,
Yeah.
A young teenager, preteen. And it would be, a weird experience because I'm thinking this is a normal, my friends are eating it too.
Yeah. And
it wasn't until, I would probably, 16, 17, when I realized that people weren't eating the same thing I was eating. Wow. And, different folklore sayings and even music. I grew up off of reggae and calypso and soca and Caribbean folk music. American music didn't, and Black American music didn't really hit me until like, gosh, Kool and the Gang, that until then. So it was, we had listened to music and stuff, but what was prevalent was a lot of Caribbean music.
Wow. Wow. So now you're you graduate high school. What happens after that?
I was in the military. I went in the military. For me, I was DJing in high school, but at that time in the 80s, DJing wasn't a career. Not how we were doing it. So, you know, they was Run DMC and stuff like that. But for us and the guys that I grew up with, we never thought of that as a career. Never thought that we could get a record deal or any of that. So I wasn't college bound. You know, I was just like, all right, you know, I'm not really looking at that. And all my older brothers and really, excuse me, my older cousins, they all went into the military. So I just followed them. And I didn't have a plan. I was just like, okay, I followed them. They were doing well. And that's what I did. And I was there for like 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 5, 6 years.
What branch?
I was in the Navy.
Okay. Wow. And so what lessons did you learn through the Navy?
Oh, a lot. I was so young when I went in that there was things that just flew over my head. There's a lot of things that flew over my head. In a lot of ways, I was embarrassed by when I, you know, as I got older and I look back on things, it's like I made the wrong decision in that situation. And it was just so many. I was just immature. So I guess the biggest lesson that I learned was probably being out to sea and being in the Persian Gulf, understanding what work ethic and expecting results that happened to me because of the captain of the ship that I was on. He made us work and learn and understand what warfare was. And had it not been for that, I wouldn't be here today. Because when we got into war, we used every inch of the stuff that he taught us. And it was either our ship or their ship. And we killed over 200 people. And they were trying to kill us. Wow. So I'm here.
What war is this?
Persian Gulf. Persian Gulf started in the 80s, you know, and people just hear about it from like 91, 92, but there was war going on prior to that, a lot of stuff going on prior to that. So I got myself into that because I joined, and I was like, all right, well, this is what I do. This is what I signed up for, you know. I knew something was crazy when they was like, hey, we need you to fill out this will. I was like, wait, stuff just got real.
Right.
Stuff just got real, you know. And I had my Bible and I prayed and I had a conversation with my mom and it's like, all right, gotta go. You know?
Wow. So 5 years in the military, what next?
While I was gone, people that I knew and had worked with musically on Long Island were making records. And I was like, what? Wait a second. I know that guy. And I was like, man, this is crazy. That's what I wanted to do. You know, if I had the option. Yeah. And it was on from there. I was like, okay, that really, I can really do that. And I had brought my records with me in the military. So wherever I went, I was DJing.
Really?
That took me around the world. So I was, you know, doing the world thing before it was famous like it is today. Yeah. Not really knowing that that's what it would become. Not knowing about networking and building relationships, you know, probably put me at an extreme disadvantage once I got out. And even to this day right now, if I'd have kept some of those relationships that I had, or, you know, kept in contact with the people that I met in Hong Kong, in the Philippines and Australia and things like that, you know, it probably would have been a different world for me right now. But I just didn't know. I was just doing what came natural to me musically and on the turntables. And, you know, that just kept things going for me. So when I got out, I was still, you know, okay, I'm DJing, this is what I do. So that, and then going to college, my brothers were college graduates and I saw how effective it was. So I was like, okay, I need to get a degree, and ended up graduating from Stony Brook University.
With what degree?
BA Social Sciences.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, BA Social Sciences. It was funny. My college career was a hodgepodge because my first record came. I produced my first record in my junior year, and that right there is the proof that I wasn't fully focused on college, because I was busy, recording. I was busy learning music and stuff like that. Right. So I wasn't super focused on college, and I didn't squeak by. But if I was just focused on college, like anything else, I would have probably done very well in it. But that wasn't me. That's what it was.
Yeah. And college isn't for everybody, right? But you got a degree, and you made a record at the same time. When was at what age did you say, oh my gosh, this music thing, that's me?
It was in college. It was that junior year. Because I was traveling a lot DJing, especially on the East Coast. I would get booked to go to Chicago to DJ a party, and we get in a car, go to Chicago, DJ the party, and so forth. And this was in like 90 in the very early 90s. So for me, that's what it was. It was like, okay, this is what you do. You work, and then you're just busy DJing. So when my first record that I produced was released, I was actually in Amsterdam DJing over there. And at the time, there was no cell phones, there was no internet. Yeah. And I was there for like 30 days. So I came back, and I took a break off. I took a semester off to go do that. My dad wasn't happy about that. So I took a semester off, went over to Amsterdam. And when I came back is when I was told that the artist that I did the record for got a deal. And we need you to go to the studio right now, because I had all the files and to actually, we need you to go right now. We've been waiting for you to get back. And it was like, it's so different than today, where it's like you can DM somebody in Amsterdam and say, hey, where are those files? And I can send a Dropbox over. Now, it wasn't that type of way back in 94. So, that's when I knew, coming back from overseas DJing, and then going straight to the studio, recording a record, and then the record did all right. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. This is it.
Nice.
I'm producing from this point on.
Right. So when did you start DJing, or when did you even pick up? At that point, it was albums, right? When did you pick up an album and a turntable and all those things that go with music and DJing?
I picked up my first record because it was my dad's record. And my mom tells me that I was always amazed with where the music was coming from, and I was gravitating towards the home studio situations, a home record player. So that was, from there. But as far as picking up a record and saying I'm going to DJ, it definitely was like 7th grade, 8th grade. Yeah, very early, 7th, 8th grade, 6th, yeah, earlier than that, really, might have been 6th grade, like 13, 14, something like that. And just listening to DJs on the radio and hearing what they was doing, all types of DJs, from rock and roll to R&B to gospel to all that. So it was just all music, and it was like, all right, cool. Before rap, you know what I mean? So that's what it was.
Wow. What are some of your most proud moments when you look back in your music career? What's some of the most proud moments that you have, and you're like, oh my gosh, I did that?
I would have to say the most proud moments has been using my gift in the ministry. I was on tour with a Christian rapper for about 3 years. And I learned a lot about ministry. I learned a lot about church culture, Black church culture. And I learned a lot about the Bible. and people that ran churches, and especially Christian artists. So it was an experience. But the thing that I was most proud of is being able to assist with ushering the Spirit of God during a worship service on the turntables.
Wow.
And I think that might be the most proud in the sense of like, wow, okay, you're doing what you're designed to do. Mm-hmm. I remember, there was a time when sitting in church as a kid, it came to me that I would be DJing in church. I saw the turntable, I saw the wax, and I saw it in church. And I was just sitting in the congregation, and I saw it. I could tell I zoned out. And as quick as it came, it was as quick as it went. And I was just like, it's crazy. It's absurd. You don't, because now I'm listening to like secular music. So I'm like, they're not going to play secular music in the church. What, and that's not going to happen. To only find myself now where there's Christian hip hop and holy hip hop, and I'm involved with this, and at a level where I'm working with some of the most popular people in this genre, that, it's not like I knew these people. It literally was a situation where the blessing was just bestowed upon me, and I needed to use my talent to assist with ushering God's spirit and fulfilling the Great Commission. You know what I mean? So it just happened. And I was like, okay, cool. And I gave it 100%. Gave it 100%.
Wow. It seemed like it came full circle for you, from being a child and growing up in church and learning a lot of things, and it being kind of the center of who you are and a part of the fiber of your being, to then being able to give some of the experiences that you've may have experienced to other people and beyond.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes I have no words for it when I sit down and just think about the whole thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I totally understand that. So now let's talk about this, because tell us about a few places that you've been that you're like, I cannot believe I got to go around the world and go to these places and actually DJ.
Hong Kong was one place. I thought that was amazing. And all of them have been pretty much outside the country that I thought was amazing. London, that was off the chain. I was like, wow, this is London. You only read about this and see it, on TV. So to experience it, it was like, wow, this is amazing. I think Amsterdam was fun too, but I think I would have to say the UK was the most amazing situation. Yeah, the UK.
Why is that?
I wasn't expecting as many Black people to be there, and I definitely wasn't expecting a lot of Nigerians and people from Africa to be there. Mm-hmm. And I felt right at home, because they were foreigners like I grew up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Toronto was the same situation. A lot of Caribbean people. I heard about it, and you hear about Caravana in Canada and things of that nature, but had never experienced it. So when I went to Toronto, I felt right at home, like, okay, my brethren, what's up? It was all good. Yeah. So, I've been, sometimes I just do the work, and, I make the music, and I don't really, like, I think about it, but at the same time, I don't dwell in what has been, and, I definitely have kept things in my heart and in my mind as far as the experience.
Sure.
But I try to keep myself level and humble, and because that was yesterday. We're focused on today to build a better tomorrow.
We got some more things to do. Let's keep moving.
More things to do. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So when you talk about traveling and DJing and then moving into producer status, And what in all of that, obstacles, opportunities.
Say that one more time.
I said, when you talk about traveling and moving from DJ to producer status and all of that, just looking at all of that together, when you look at that, what were your obstacles? What were opportunities that happened? And do you think that some of them were obstacles or opportunities because of you were Black, or just because of your skills, or what? How did all of that play together?
There's never been, I don't know. I was just thinking there hasn't ever been an issue with me being Black when it comes down to DJing. Yeah, on Long Island, there's been a few. My last name. So when you hear me, you see the name, you're thinking, okay. And even my first name, and if you're not, my nickname is okay. You don't know who I am. So, as far as race, anyway. So so I've been picked out of a hat by name. And then when I get there, it's like, oh, who are you? You know. So that's about the most that I've seen in terms of my race being an issue. But it's always been talent and being able to continue on and do the job. It's just been the skills and the talent that has always kept it moving. I'm not as good as other people when it comes down to relationship building. I'm probably better at it now than I was even 2 years ago. But those are the things that have hurt me, because to some degree, I'd rather stay home than go out. And then when I do go out, I'm out DJing, and then, and then I do hang out. Yeah, of course. But overall, I'm home. So relationship building and things of that nature, if there's anything that was lacking, it was that. So those have been the things that have hindered me. But I'm not a fake person. If I'm not feeling you, I don't feel your spirit, then you're going to see it on my face. You know what I mean? So and I try to get the poker face going, but I'm not that good at it. So you're going to see it. So I'm better than I used to be, but definitely not a pro at it.
Wow. So when we talk about being leaders, Black men being leaders in society, in family, leaders now, leaders in the past, when you look at that, looking at your dad, your community, everything, you've traveled around the world several times and still continue to, virtually and in person.
Yeah, right.
Still continue to. Thank God for technology, right?
Right, absolutely.
Can keep things moving. I'm sure you've seen a lot and taken in a lot as it deals with a Black man, as it deals with leaning into leadership, and as it deals with family. Mm-hmm. What's your take on it?
My take on it, I think I've been duped into thinking that the white picket fence is the same for Black men and is as accessible to all Black men as it is for everyone else in this country. They offer us credit without teaching us about credit history. We don't have wealth from generations from before. So we're starting out, when we get out of high school, we're starting out at a disadvantage, because we're taking loans out to go to college. They are supplemented by generations of wealth to say, okay, that $20,000 you took out for the first year compared to the $20,000 that they had in the bank to give, and then they made more. And so now when we get out, we have to take that first job. We have to, we got this loan to pay, you know what I mean? Or refinance the house. Mm-hmm. Or thinking that, for me, okay, I got a house now, I can buy a car or whatever, or purchasing the house off of two incomes when it should be purchased off of one income. but they talk you into thinking, oh yeah, you guys have two incomes, you can afford this. And it's like, no, you can't. You can't afford it. It should be purchased off of one income, and we should scale ourselves back to say we want to own the car instead of paying monthly on it. So let's buy a hoopty, you know what I mean? Let's live in a smaller house. So I was duped into thinking that, hey, once I got the degree, I'm making money musically and stuff like that, hey, I'm good. You know what I mean? So that if the person that has the money is in charge. It's generally a true statement. So when you have to go out and work, and your wife has to go out and work, your wife's boss is now involved in decision makings that happen in your home. You know what I mean? And we never took that into consideration. We weren't taught that. I never heard that in church. So even in the Black church, we failed ourselves into thinking that, hey, we can get the Cadillac. Let's get this. And it's like, no, we need, as a race, we needed to scale back, purchase stuff for us to own in 2 years instead of paying on a car for 5, instead of buying the big house, trying to be like the Joneses. And this is where I got duped into thinking that, okay, yeah, I got this, I got that, now I can do this and I can do that. And I wasn't good. I'm better at business than I was 16 years ago, 17 years ago. And then combine that with not having great relationships. That's a recipe for a business to fail, and that's what happened with my business in the early 2000s, that it failed because I just had too many things on the plate. My responsibilities were great, and I wasn't being the leader that I should have been in my marriage. So I failed miserably and still paying for those things to this day. But now at this point, having the knowledge, I'm able to apply that to future situations. And I have more patience for people that don't know and don't want to adhere to these basic steps that are God-driven principles that we overlook. We in church yelling and screaming. This is, because this is Bible-based. There's nothing that I'm going to say or talk about that isn't Bible-based, in the sense of like, that's my compass. You know what I mean? I'm going to make a decision based off of, okay, what would Jesus do, to make it simple, right? So that's why I refer to the church and say, well, we got every week, we sitting together every week, and no one said some of these things that I'm saying right now. No one. It's not their fault. You should have known, Rob. Okay, I got you. And now that I know, I try to talk about it every time I'm on a platform. It's part of the music. Being a leader in the music says we need to look at some of the music that the radio's playing and say, why are we playing this when we could be playing that? Why are we degrading women when we could be uplifting the community? You know what I mean? Why are we signing this artist and not signing the artist that's talking about positivity? What happened to Christian hip hop? What happened to, these things like that? So that's a leader in the sense of what I do musically. I try my best not to put any foul music out. Uplifting music, it's gonna make you move, dance, whatever. But I'd be hard pressed to say that I'll get involved with a song that'd be like, yo, it's crazy. He just called this woman out of his, out her name. I don't foresee that happening. I just don't, because I don't talk like that. You're not gonna hear, It's just not gonna happen. I've done stupid things as a kid and a younger man, but at this stage of the game, you know. So being a leader, that's, you know, the position or the trajectory that I put myself into, and then I want to move from there. You know what I mean? I want to have discussions like that with people that I deal with. I want what I say on the stage, and it's not that I'm that type of artist where I'm rapping anything, but when I was on the stage, I want what I'm saying on stage to match how I conduct myself in the boardroom. I've seen plenty of artists that what they say on stage doesn't match how they act in the airport getting to the venue. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It doesn't match what happens after the show. You know what I mean? It just doesn't match. You know, so I don't want to be that. There's a level of yourself that you have to give up in order to be a leader. You can't do everything that you want to do. You can't do everything that your heart desires, because the heart will lead you in the wrong way. It's your mind. You know, we talk, oh, my heart, I feel in my spirit, I feel the spirit. It's like, no, well, what does your mind tell you? What did you read? What did you understand? What did you study? And these are the things that define a leader to me. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah. So when you talk about not having the education as you talk about in housing, being able to get credit without the credit education, being able to extending yourself way past where you probably should have extended yourself from a financial standpoint, from a physical standpoint, of just too much on the plate, but no one ever sharing with you how to understand and be educated in ways to be better off, so to speak, for lack of a better term. Where do you sit today as we're in today's climate and we're asking for assistance and we're asking for, and the most things that usually we're getting, and I talked about this the other day in a city government live. I didn't mean to, but I did. But talked about money is not always the answer. Education. Sometimes there has to be education of needs, understanding where the needs are first before money is a part of the equation, right? Because we need money to do things, but money is a resource. Is what I hear you saying, that the education of understanding credit and understanding money as the resource and not as the thing and spending it all as you get it. Yeah. Where do you sit as we hear the nation and African American community, right? As a business owner, as a Black man, as just a man during this time, when you hear people saying, I need help, and you only help you really see is loans, some grants, you know, but everything is money. It's like, I'm just going to throw more money at you. What do you say about that?
Throwing the money is not the answer. Education is the answer. Readjusting the moral compass is the answer. It's very difficult to do. And it's partly because people are set, like really set in their ways. If we thought it was bad 20 years ago, it's even worse now because social media has given people a microphone, an unjust microphone. You haven't earned the microphone. Mm-hmm. You haven't earned the right to speak up. You know, typically, the person that's speaking has studied, has gone to college, you know, but now that's not the case. You know, you got the platforms that allow you to become an authority, and it's unjust. You know, you haven't earned that. So that has led the mindset of the current culture to think that no matter what, if they have an opinion or a feeling that is valid. And that's not necessarily the case. There's validity to what you feel, yes. But is there importance to it? Is it, are we all on the same grid? You know what I mean? You know, it's like a sliding scale. It's like, it can't be a sliding scale. The grid has to stay the grid. If good is good, then that's what that is. If bad is bad, then that's what it is. But we have a sliding scale that goes up and down and says, oh, no, well, you know, well, you're not, we're going to adjust for this. And it's like, no, that's not where we're at. You know, God is God. It's never going, that's not going to change. But we give you know, a pass. So throwing money is that's not going to work. We need to be balanced in the sense that we can get the money thrown at us. We learn what to do with the money. We understand what it is and how it can help. And then we can start moving forward. And then we're starting to move on a more equal footing. You know what I mean? But throwing money is at us and it's not going to work. It's, you know, it's just not going to work.
I've got a real doozy for you. I'm going there.
Uh-oh.
Black men, do they get a bad rap as being, I talk about society having them as silent, which equals absent, or angry, which equals aggressive, and kind of puts them in those two boxes, you guys in those two boxes. When it comes to family, and it comes to spouse, it comes to fatherhood, it comes to community man, right? And I think that they all kind of tie into each other in one way or another. The silent and absent box, do you think that's a bad rap? Do you think there's some validity? Where do you sit with that?
It's definitely case by case, but overall, we get the bad rap. I know I got the bad rap. So if I got the bad rap and I know where I stood, then that is an issue, because I never thought I would be in a situation I was with people saying, okay, well, you don't want to take care of your children and things of that nature. That's, anyone that knows me knows that that's false, completely false. But if you ask child support, they would say, nah, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And that's not true. You know what I mean? So in those terms, I guess I'm silent. You know, that would be the silent, because you don't want me to be angry. And like I said earlier, I'm going to kill you with kindness. That's what I'm going to do. And that's pretty much what got me into the situation, killing people with kindness. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not going to say nothing. And I think I heard it from you, that if everything is good in a relationship, then somebody's lying.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I 100% believe that.
Right. So everything was good. I was like, yo, I'm cool. So, you know, that silent is like, okay, yeah, you know, we're silent in the sense that we're missing when it comes down to the Black family and raising the children. But at the same time, sometimes you get into, well, I'm speaking for myself, I get into a situation where angry is not an option. Anger, moving in that direction is not an option. And that's just going to land you in a worse predicament. So I had to choose between the two. What I knew wasn't going to happen was I was going to jail. That wasn't going to happen. So we're not, no handcuffs, none of that. So what's going to happen, you know, and I hate to, you know, to be so cold, but that's a reality for people. It's like, look, I can't, you know, there's certain things I can't deal with, you know, whatever, you know, so that's how it is for me. But I think it applies to the question that, hey, do we get the bad rap? Because no, that's not me at all. I never wanted that to happen. That wasn't my goal. When I got into the situation, this is what my plan was. Was I vocal about it? Did I do it the right way? Was I good at it? I can confidently say I was not good at it. But that doesn't mean that I should be labeled as someone that doesn't care, or someone that, what did they say? I think they said that abandonment. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, that's not the case at all. That wasn't the case at all. But the rap that's on my back, what's on my back is that, and that's not true at all. You know.
So what I hear you say is, what something can look like may not be the reality of what it actually is.
Exactly. You know, and it's and when we start getting to the position where we can stop pointing fingers, especially when it comes down to the Black family and Black relationships, you know, husband and wives and things like that, when we can get to the point where we're not pointing fingers anymore, then we can start moving forward. But once we're still, you know, continue with being angry, and we haven't matured to a level where, hey, you know, we got to communicate, or we got to, or just follow the 10 commandments. Just do that. You know what I mean? Just do that. And, you know, at the very least, you know, you'll be on the street and not lost looking at your GPS. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that it's that being real with each other, communicating with each other. And you're right. I strongly believe, and I say it all the time, that if everybody's happy all the time in a relationship, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a happy, good relationship, but if everybody's happy all the time and there's never any type of conflict at all, then somebody's lying.
Right.
Because there's no way. We didn't grow up together. We're not the same person. Just the fact that we're two different people, we're not going to agree all the time.
Yeah.
And so somebody is not telling the truth, and it usually ends in demise if it goes for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I think, I saw you say it. I was like, wow, that's real.
Yeah. So if you know, I say kill the elephant before you even get started. Let's just kill the elephant in the room and move forward. So let me ask you a couple of things. So what do you think the Black man today, what should he be doing?
Sitting down, in the sense of reading, learning, really looking at what your position is on, definitely in this country, but definitely on this earth. What is it? You know, what can you do to make it better? Not stopping, you're not still working, still, you know, doing what you do, but what can you do to make things better? I think that is the fundamental call to action. What can you do to make things better in any situation that you're in? What can you decide to say, okay, I'm not going to do this because it's going to affect someone else. I'm not going to do this because in the long run, it's not going to be good. It'll be, you know, let's sit down and really slow down this process. Everything is microwave right now, and we're moving too fast. So let's look at what some of our moves and our decisions and the things that we carry out, how does it affect other people? How does it affect the future? And then once we do that, meditating, really remembering that your mind, you know, you can move things with your mind. You know, the universe is yours. You know what I mean? These are things that you have to really grasp. You know what I mean? Definitely meditating and just calm everything down. You know what I mean? Whether it's corporately or both, corporately and personally, from that angle. And then I think that will allow us time to breathe. You know, no pun intended, but that allows us time to breathe, get oxygen to your brain, you know, and then that goes into a whole new conversation in the sense of like, let's start being healthy. Let's start using our tools that are inherent to us to be better. you know what I mean? But the first thing would be to sit down and meditate and let's really think about what we're doing.
Wow. Wow. So I've got a few rapid fire questions that are going to sound strange, but are you willing to play along with me?
Yeah, I'm down.
All right. Favorite food?
Favorite food that I don't eat often now because I don't eat as much meat, if that much at all. But oxtails, cooked Jamaican style, with rice and beans and curry and the whole nine. So it's more than likely my favorite food is some kind of Jamaican dish. But there's some places that I go to that is excellent.
All right. You're making me hungry there. Okay. Favorite movie?
Love Jones. Love Jones. There's a couple, but definitely Love Jones is on the list. There's a movie that probably people would think I wouldn't be something that I see, but Fried Green Tomatoes. So that was a movie I just thought it was an excellent layout, the way it was done, the story, stuff like that. So, and I saw that years ago. It's an old movie.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Love Jones, Fried Green Tomatoes. Favorite ice cream?
Butter pecan. Then I go to what's it called? Baskin Robbins, and I put a whole situation together where it's butter pecan and pistachio, marshmallow sauce, and a lot of sprinkles with nuts. And I haven't done that. It's been a while since I've done that because I don't eat that much. Like, I don't eat that way anymore. But that was like a normal for me. Oh gosh, weekly.
Wow. All right. I got to ask you, favorite song?
Oh man, there's a lot. But I would have to say Rochelle Farrell and Will Downing, Never Felt Like This is probably my favorite song. Because I like Rochelle Farrell, and she's an excellent singer, and the music was really good, well done, and the vocal talent on the record was off the chain. I was like, oh, that's a real good record. And then, but there's a lot. So definitely something by Rakim, probably Follow the Leader, because the lyrics and the music was dope. That was all good. But Follow the Leader had lyrics in it, and it was uplifting us as a culture. You know what I mean? The whole concept of that record was building, and that's what rap used to be. You know what I mean? That's why I'm very disappointed in rap nowadays, because we're not building each other in any way. You take the lyrics and you read the lyrics, and it's like, what? But you take like Rakim's lyrics and you read it out, and it makes you think. And you can see he was saying something to build you up. You know what I mean? So Rakim, Follow the Leader.
With a hot beat on top of it.
With a hot beat, no doubt.
Yeah. So speaking of music, and producing, you had a new album come out.
Yes. The single. I did a single, and it did well. It's doing well now. I just got some numbers on it, and it's like, whoa, okay, that's cool. It's doing really well. It featured Levita Davis on vocals. She's a fantastic singer, actress as well. And the song was written about a couple that perished during a tsunami. The husband perished, or the boyfriend, the husband perished. And she literally goes through, like she lost her heartbeat. That means she lost her husband. So when you listen to the lyrics and you listen to how she's singing it and how it's flowing, that's what the song is about. Her little girl, from the wife's standpoint, singing about her losing her heartbeat. And it's sad, but at the same time, it's a cool, neo soulish, hip hopish type song. So it's cool. Heartbeat.
Wow, that's amazing. So now, what's next for Robbo Fitzgibbons?
Ooh, a lot of production. The Ottoman Zone. I'm doing the music for right now, internet TV talk show. I got a funny feeling that talk show is going to go a lot further.
I do too.
But, I do the music for that show. And I also do the music for a YouTube channel, a YouTube vlogger, Christastic. Everybody knows Crystal. But she has a lot of followers, and she does a lot of meditation and yoga stuff. And when you see her doing it, you hear the music in the background, that's me.
Wow. 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 So what's the legacy? What's the legacy of Robbo Fitzgibbons? When it's all said and done, what's your mark on the world? What's the legacy?
My goal and what I want people to get is that as a culture, especially the Black culture, that we can entertain ourselves without being violent. We can entertain ourselves without cursing each other out, calling our prized possession in the sense of what God has given man, women, calling them out of their names and just being foul. You know, we can entertain ourselves without that. And that's what my legacy, you know, I want that to be part of, you know. What did you say about Robbo? He's like, yo, he wasn't trying to replicate foul behavior. You know, that wasn't him.
Wow. Wow. This has been an amazing, amazing conversation. And I've had so much fun with you and learned so much about you today. Thank you for telling your story through your lens. I want to give you a few minutes to be able to say anything to society, to a person, to a culture, to whatever's on your heart, to be seen and heard, for whatever, you know, you feel like I got to get this out. I got to say this. I can't leave without saying this. I want to give you that time right now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I think the first thing I would say is for people to start communicating. Just get on the phone. Now we're Zooming, we're video conferencing now. Brothers, get on the phone, talk with each other. Even if it's difficult to make that meeting every 2 weeks. And I'm with a group of friends from Bayshore that I haven't seen and physically seen in 30 years. So let's start talking. Let's start praying on a consistent basis. Let's learn how to pray. Let's read our Bible more, and then start going to church and asking questions and making demands, especially in the Black church, about what it is you don't know and what it is you don't understand and how does it apply to your everyday life. Demand that you're shown how that works. And if you're not getting met or you're not getting fed, then go find somewhere else to go. But that would be what I'd like to say.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you again, Robbo Fitzgibbons, AKA DJ Robbo. Yes. It has been a pleasure. Again, thank you for telling your story through your lens and being with us today. Thank you to those viewers who are watching us live. Now, I want to be clear that when you watch this live, there's no comments, there's no likes or dislikes, because it's just simply listening to a Black man tell his story through his lens, without comments, without likes, without dislikes, without anything, but just hearing him. So now you've had the chance to hear Robbo Fitzgibbons. What you do with that information and how you check yourself and your own biases is on you. What action you take next is on you. Thank you again for tuning into the Voices of a Black Man. I'm CK James. We'll be back tomorrow, wrapping up this week with a roundtable. We have a few of the gentlemen from this week coming back to sit and go into a deeper dive. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 12 p.m. Same time, same bat channel. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day.
Right now.